I'm not pro deportation. I think the people who are protesting actually do not in the actions that they're taking. But initially, I think they do have a pretty good case where it's like, these are people who, it'd be one thing if I can wrap my head around the idea if they were like only targeting people who were violent or criminals or whatever. Like, I can like wrap my head around that idea. I can be like, okay, that's fine, whatever, right? Like, those people should be extradited from society anyway, so like, fine, whatever. But like, when you're going into workplaces where people are just happen to be illegals, like, but they're doing the same thing that, anybody else, like, any other worker would do, right? But like, you're just going to arrest them because they don't have a card or they don't have papers or whatever, right? Like, yeah, I think that's kind of fucked up. And honestly, it does kind of fuck up the economy a little bit, right? Like, you have, like a business, even if they're like, quote unquote, taking advantage of illegals or whatever, right? Like, there's still a mutual exchange. There's still an agreed upon thing. And, what might be not a lot of money to someone could be a lot of money to other people. So I think that's kind of, speculative as to like what is a lot and what isn't, right? But I mean, there's dollar amounts, but like in terms of like what that's worth per person, right? I think that's speculative. But anyways, I think there's a big problem when you have that happening. One video that I saw that I thought was actually really great is something that happened in San Francisco where there was ICE people going into a community, and the community, everybody got together in a group and started shouting. From what I saw in the video, there weren't any like projectiles, there weren't any weapons. In San Francisco, so they probably don't, if they had weapons, they'd probably get arrested, right? But regardless, it wasn't violent. It wasn't a violent protest. It was simply showing up in numbers and, saying, hey, we don't want you here. And then they left. And like, it's almost like the idea of like, if you're in a confrontation and you just show that you have a gun, like that de-escalates so many situations a lot of times. And it was kind of that same thing, right? And I was like, okay, this is actually like a really good example of an actual peaceful protest, right? Like actually getting things done in your community without violence. Like I thought that was really great. And then like a couple days later, this thing happens in LA, right? And from what I understand, how this started is ICE was, doing their sweeps. There were a lot of incidents of them going into workplaces, rounding up illegals. And a lot of people in the community were fed up with it. And so they started creating human blockades in public streets, highways, etc., which then prompted police to come. They started attacking police. And then eventually Trump brought in the National Guard, which I heard this today. Apparently, this is the first time that the National Guard has been sent into a state against the wishes of the government, of the local government, since the LA riots of 91, 92, I think. So that's historically significant in a sense, right? Maybe before I was a kid. I'm fucking turning 30, man. It was a long ass time ago. But I guess I have a variety of thoughts when it comes to this. First of all, similarly, actually, I'll say this before I even start. I think this is like seeing something like this. Like I'm sure there are people in their mind that like look at the videos and the images and just think this is anarchy. And like I can't help but think like as the anarchist, like in an actual anarcho-capitalist society where people own property, this wouldn't ever happen. Like, let's think where this started. This started on public roads, and then you had the police come in, and that just incited everything, right? If things were privatized, like if people went on private property and started doing this, they would get shot, right? And rightfully so. Like No, you can't just go on somebody's yard and start protesting without expecting any consequences to come to you, right? Like, so it's always just funny to me how like people will like look at this and be like, anarchy. This is anarchy, and I'm like, this would never. Not that this would never happen, but is so, like you would have way more guardrails that would take place before this would happen, right? So like that's just stupid. You know, people look at a burning car and they're like, this is anarchy. It's like, it's actually not. It's not at all. This is state collapse is what this is. But look, I don't think rioting or frankly even protesting, I just don't think it's good. I don't think it's helpful. I think me getting on this podcast and talking to the people is way more effective than me getting in a street and holding up a sign and just screaming with everybody else. Like, right. Like, I think it's like just the lowest. I mean, it's low IQ, and B, it's just like the lowest hanging fruit for like, oh, hey, like I want to make a change. It's like, okay, I'll just go do what everybody else is doing. Right. Like, I don't know. And like, you're doing it in a public space. Like, you're disrupting people who just want to fucking, go, like they want to just drive to work. Like they're just living a normal life. And then you just have all these these people just disrupting shit. I mean, not to assume, but a lot of them are they clearly don't have anything better to do. Right. Like those are the people who are usually there. Right. I guess like ultimately it's just bad all around. Right. It's bad that they blocked the streets. It's bad that the police came in, the LAPD came in, and then just started shooting people with rubber bullets and doing the thing that they always do in riots, right? Like the reporter who got shot with a rubber bullet, like thankfully she's okay. But like, there could be a situation where those rubber bullets actually kill people. Like I'm sure that's happened. Whether it's lethal or not, like, yeah, I think it's fucked up that the state comes in. Like, it's kind of the idea like two wrongs don't make it right. Right? Like, if you have a war and you have like the good guys and the bad guys, that's not really the case. Like, really, in a way, they're like, unless like to the point where like if in this war scenario, right? Like, if your country is getting invaded by another country, like, yeah, you're like, if you retaliate to that, you're acting in self-defense. But then if that country were to then go into that country and start fucking shit up, like, yeah, you're not really like doing the moral thing anymore. Like you're kind of you're doing the same thing that they were doing to you. So this is just bad all around. I think the fact that, I mean, to be fair, for now at least, it does seem like the National Guard is mostly just protecting federal property, which is okay, fine. I don't really care. It could burn to the ground for all I care, but like whatever, right? Like I don't think like at least he's not like violently going into communities and like just doing what ICE would do like times 10, right? But this also kind of brings me to I should really know the guy's last name. Dave Smith and Alex something, who it was a libertarian open borders debate. And weirdly enough, I found myself actually agreeing with Alex on a lot of points. Yeah, he was a little like too autistic, for lack of a better term, too autistic with it a little bit, but like I'm also autistic, so I was like, hey, I get it, man. I get where you come from. But like one of the points he made was like, like everything that ICE is doing to these illegal immigrants, they will do to you. And I think this is, I mean, not even is going to be a test. I think it is currently a test as to like how much power will the government, the federal government, or even the state government take to do, like, at what point are they is the ICE going to be detaining people who are illegals and then start detaining people or, deporting people who just disagree with what they're doing, right? I mean, we saw this with the like the Jewish protests, right? Like the people, like they deported like however many hundreds of people for anti-Semitism. Like you're telling me that they couldn't just do that to people who are protesting in LA right now? Like it could so easily happen. It could happen with the snap of a finger. All it takes is Trump to just go on True Social and say like, hey, we're going to do this now, right? So look, I guess ultimately at the end of the day, like, yeah, it's not happening in Iowa yet. I hope it doesn't. If anybody's listening to this, please don't go out and protest. Don't. It's stupid. You're not going to get anything done. If anything, you're just going to make your opinions and your quote unquote cause, you're just going to make it a little worse, right? If you don't like what's going on, do what I do. Start a podcast. Talk about it. Don't even start a podcast. Go on fucking Instagram Live and talk about it, right? That will do 10 times more benefit for what you believe than going onto a street, disrupting traffic, holding up a sign, and just waiting for a cop to shoot you with a rubber bullet. It's just stupid.